This past weekend, obviously we're disappointed with the loss. And, certainly, as I spoke of Saturday, I thought our team had a very good Friday and Saturday in preparation, and I thought that they were prepared to go out and play. I thought they were excited to play, and that is, that I told them Sunday that was very encouraging to me. Just knowing that they, the motivation, the confidence that they had when they took the field, and certainly, I thought that showed the way we performed early in the ball game. We've all talked about, the turnover going into the end zone the first drive. It's probably been blown out of proportion, but at the end of the day, yes, it was a big play in the ball game. Yes, it would have given us a tremendous amount of momentum. Yes, it would have solidified so much that we've worked so hard to achieve here since I took the job in December, because it would have given us, our fans, everyone, so much momentum to start the season. All that being said, I thought that there were a lot of positives we can take out of Saturday. I thought that there's a lot of things we got to correct, and there's a lot of things we got to do better. I think that the kids responded Sunday very well. They were upbeat. They were disappointed in the loss, no doubt, but they were upbeat in the way they approached film and practice. They understand that we've got to improve, and they're motivated to improve. Yes, I thought that we played hard for the most part. I would say that in comparison to maybe what some people have seen on the field the last couple of years. At the same time, that is well below our standard and the way that we are going to play. The big thing I want to challenge the players to do this week, I want to challenge them on many levels. The big one is that we have got to play harder. We've got to play with more intensity. We've got to play with more physicality. We have got to play more with our chin out over our toes and behind our pads. And we've got to develop confidence in what we're doing, and we've got to develop better unity in how we do it. Those are the big focuses this week. Yes, we're going to work on, we've got to, fit things more correctly in the run game. The quarterback counter got out because of a poor mistake by our edge defender right there. We've got to have better eyes with the screen and go. It's something that's it's a DB 101 thing with training your eyes. We should have played the wheel route better. It's something we've talked about in all preseason camp. It's formation recognition and alignment of the linebacker. All those things we've got to do better. We spent the bulk of the practice Sunday addressing that. We'll address it all throughout this week. We'll take care of the X's and O's stuff, but the mental approach and being prepared to play a certain way is going to be the big emphasis for this week. Gardner Webb, I know Coach McCray very well. I faced him several times. He's a veteran coach. He is a good football coach. He'll have his team ready to play. Kenny Ray is an outstanding offensive line coach. They'll come in here with a plan, and I'm sure that they'll be excited to play in what's going to be a great environment. So we have a great challenge this week in them, but our focus is going to be primarily on us because, and I do really mean that, because we have got to take a tremendous step forward this week. The NC State game was our first opportunity against competition that was somebody besides ourselves, and so it gives us a measuring stick of where we are right now. And I think what you saw Saturday was a veteran, well-developed roster in a program that has had stability for 7+ years, and that's what it should look like. And I think that what we saw was a young roster in a first year under a new head coaching staff, and so that's where we are right now, and we look forward to improving drastically not only this week but every week throughout this year. Questions about NC State or Gardner Webb?
You've already got a tough week, hurricane coming through as well. Do you have contingency plans for the team? Do they stay here? Do they move down?
Our administration's following it and tracking it, obviously. We don't anticipate having to adjust anything with the game. It might impact practice a little bit late in the week, but we'll have contingency plans for that also.
Is this your Exhibit A? Is it a facility? We have hurricanes coming through.
Broadcast that as loud as you want to. Yeah, we do. We need a suitable indoor practice facility. It is critical not only for situations like this, but the lightning here in eastern North Carolina can pop up at any point in time. And so I think any time that you get in those situations, you have to have a place to conduct a practice. And I think that's something that's well overdue here at East Carolina.
Coach, there's an old saying that teams get so much better from game one, game two.
Right.
Your experience in your past game ones to twos.
Right. Absolutely. And it's for all those reasons we just talked about it. We've been going against each other, and you see certain things going against each other when you go against another opponent, especially one that is at a level like I talked about. That is a team that is going to be one of the better teams in the ACC. It's a team that's had a lot of success over the past several years. So those redshirt seniors, redshirt juniors, redshirt sophomores have, number one, had time in the weight room, had time nutritionally to develop, and they've been a part of a winning program. So you're facing a team that's a solid Power 5 football team. So it's a great test. It's a great evaluation for us because it shows us exactly where our strengths and weaknesses are. So it gives us something to really work with the kids on correcting our mistakes, because we can sit and beat it up all we want to. We all feel like the score should have been a heck of a lot closer Saturday. But it was our mistakes that caused the thing to be 34-6. If we recover the fumble like we should 9 times out of 10, they're on the 6-yard line, they don't stick one touchdown. And if we get our pads down and cover up going into the end zone, we score right there. Go over and over and over again. All the mistakes that we made is why the score was what it was. So it gives us a great evaluation to improve on. So we should see drastic improvement from week 1 to week 2, and that has been my experience in the past.
How do you guys respond when you were kind of teaching them, showing them the film? Is a pretty good response from the players?
Yeah, they're positive. They want to win, and we spent a lot of time on those mistakes Sunday. You'll probably see us, those half a dozen to 10 plays each side of the ball that were the critical mistakes on Saturday. You'll probably see us cover those plays every single day this week, in addition to preparing for the schemes that we're going to see from Gardner Webb.
State's a big physical team. I didn't see a lot of injuries during the injuries. How's that helping the team winning Gardner Webb?
Very good. Yeah, I thought that was evidence right there on Saturday of the great job that John Williams and our strength and conditioning staff have done throughout the past 8 months, and also Jake Moore and the athletic training staff and their ability to take care of our players.
Coach, was there anything on film that surprised you that maybe you didn't see in the game, either positively or negatively?
Well, I think, I'd rather focus on the positive standpoint. I thought that, we had guys competing, really well at a high level. I think, just individually, you talk about some of the receivers that made some tough contested catches with tight coverage. I think, the ability for Holton to consistently put the ball on target. I think those are positive things to see against a very aggressive defense. I think defensively, if you take away the just flat busts that give up some big plays, I thought we tackled better. I thought that we, did a decent job at times of fitting the run better. When we did let some stuff get out, we had some pursuit to get the ball on the ground most times. So there were positives there. At the same time, it still is what it is.
What is the transition like? Last week you were kind of a road underdog trying to pull an upset. Now you're a big favorite at home against a team, from a lower level. What is the challenge like this week with any of that transition?
If we pay any attention to that stuff, we're missing the target. It's about us. That's the deal. I promise you. And somebody asked me on an interview earlier this morning, just about what my mindset would be if I was Gardner Webb. Because I was an FCS coach, and I told them, I said, well, every time we played one of these games, we expected to win. I promise you, they do too. There's 11 people on the field. The field's the same size as the whole thing from Hoosiers. They've got every bit as much of an opportunity to win as we do. It comes down to who executes at the highest level and who can do the most things right. So, that's stuff you can't get caught up in. Last time I checked, this program hadn't had a whole lot of success against FCS opponents here recently. So we better be focused on winning the ball game.
What was the mood down to the team coming out of this contest that you can kind of hear them talking amongst themselves?
Well, I think it's just what we talked about earlier. I think they were motivated on Saturday to go out and play at a high level and win. They're disappointed not to get the win. They're very motivated to improve this week. I think that there's nobody hanging their head. There's no negative body language. There's no, griping in the locker room. You don't see that stuff. You see guys that are very locked into what we're doing. I think that they see the hope and they believe in what we're doing. And I think they're committed to, getting this turned around, no different than we were a week ago. I said it on Saturday. If everybody loses all their excitement about this because we lost a tough road game to a good opponent, they weren't real excited to begin with. We've got a chance to have a special year. We've got a chance to get things headed in the right direction, and our big focus is on the biggest game of the year we have, and that's Gardner Webb.
Coach, my sincerest condolences.
Thanks.
The running game, how does that improve against Gardner?
It's got to. I think there's a couple of things. I think number one, our offensive line has to continue to develop schematically. When I say that, I mean assignment-wise, they've got to be on the same page. Their fundamentals have to continue to improve. We've got to get more of a downhill approach to our fundamentals and get out of playing so sideways like we did on Saturday. And our running backs have got to understand, when you can't block everybody. If the other team is doing their job, they're going to have a free hat at the point of contact. That's just it. I'm accustomed to our running backs running through that free hitter at the point of contact. We wear shoulder pads too. So, we've got to be able to do our job at the running back position and not just go down with the first hit. We got to be able to break contact, and yards after contact are very important.
You had some true freshmen to play. What's your philosophy on the redshirt rules now for games going forward to evaluate you go? How do you figure out who you're going to redshirt you want this season?
First off, I think it's a really good rule for college football. I think it allows you to you get some guys some experience. It allows you to see where they are early on. It allows you to have depth without sacrificing a year of eligibility. I remember in 2016, we had our quarterback go down in game 10. It was an injury that was going to be a 3-week injury or so, and we're making a run at the national championship, and we had to burn the red shirt of a freshman quarterback for 2 games. That's a travesty. So. Was it worth it then? Yeah, absolutely it was. We won both games that he played in, and then the starter came back. But you look at the rule now, he would be able to retain his red shirt. So I think it's a great rule. Our philosophy on red shirting is this: if they're good enough to play, they'll play. We're always going to do what's best for the student athlete, in that we're going to maximize his eligibility, because they only have so many games to play in during their career, and you're much better off playing them older, when they're 21, 22 years old, than you are if they're 18. That being said, if they can go out there and play significant reps, Jaquan McMillan's a great example. I think he's a special young man in a special situation, in that he's good enough to play right now, and the stage isn't too big for him, and so he's a guy that's going to play. We're going to evaluate the 4-game rule weekly. And you'll see us be very cautious with guys early in the year, because I think the biggest area of need is probably going to be late in the year. And if you can have a guy that can come in and sub for a couple of ball games late in the year and still redshirt, I think that's a real positive thing for us and for the student athlete.
Going off that statement, is he a guy who would like to redshirt as a sophomore? Is that still plans to go?
I think right now, with where he is and where our offensive line is, I would say yes, because I think he could benefit from the year with Big John. He was kind of robbed of that last year because of necessity. So I think it would be a good thing for him and a good thing for our program if we could. That being said, we got to see how everything plays out. Right now he's practicing hard every day and preparing. He's an important part of our program.
It looks like Gardner Webb has a few running backs that play a lot of guys in the backfield. What do you expect from their offense, maybe scheme-wise, or is that key to stopping them, or something else?
I think you'll see them, no matter what the personnel grouping they have in the ball game, you'll see them in a lot of 2-back formations. Certainly the senior running back Cagle is Had some big moments for them over the years. They ran for, I think, 160 yards or so on Saturday. And he has solid ability. I think that you look at kind of what it looked like their game plan was on Saturday. I think we'll probably see something similar this week. Their receivers, they have 3 receivers that are 6'4" and 210 pounds plus. I'm sure that they're going to try to run the ball effectively and take their shots down the field with those big receivers. I mean, that's what I would do if I was them. Schematically on defense, they are a 3 down front, which is, we saw a 3 down front last week. It's a little bit different, a little more variety to it than what we saw last week. But still, they're going to move around and stunt and stuff like that, and they're going to challenge us. So we're going to have to be really sound with communication up front and how we pick things up. I think it's, like I said, Coach McCray will have a solid game plan coming in here, and I'm sure that they expect to come in here and have some success. So we're going to have to be ready to go. Anything else? Okay, thanks a lot.